Board. Hello, everybody, and welcome to the Secrets to Plant-Based Living Summit, how to use food to have radiant health, mental clarity, and boundless energy. I'm your host, Sandra Cotto, and I've brought to you 21 of the most influential doctors, coaches, authors, and speakers to help you understand what plant-based living looks like, what it can do for your health, and how you can transform your life to live more vibrantly. I'd like to welcome our guest today, Dr. Ailis Brosnan. Dr. Ailis Brosnan is a vegan wellness expert who has over 25 years experience helping people create healthier lifestyles so they feel confident, energized, and engage more fully in life. Dr. Brosnan, thank you for being on the show today.
Thanks so much. Thanks for having me. I'm delighted to be part of the summit.
Yes, thank you. So, Dr. Brosnan, can you tell us a little bit more about yourself and a little bit about your accomplishments?
Sure. As you mentioned, I've been involved in health and fitness all my life, really all my adult life. It's my passion. I started out studying sports science. I was very much into fitness and athletics in particular, and I really love that whole area, but I wanted to broaden my horizons when it came to health. I knew the importance of nutrition and the other elements of health in terms of managing our stress and our sleep and so on. So I went down and studied health promotion, and that gave me a much broader, I suppose, background in terms of helping people address all areas of their health. And I came out from that kind of armed and ready to change the world, but found out that not everybody was ready and willing to change. So I became very interested in then health behavior and the psychology behind that and what makes us change or not change. So that's what prompted me to go back then and study a doctorate in health psychology to better help people.
Wow, that's fantastic. And so tell me a little bit about your athletics. I know that you just completed an Ironman. Can you tell us a little bit about some of your athletic journey?
Sure. Like I said, I've always been into fitness. I competed a lot in athletics over the years. I've run marathons. I've represented Ireland in mountain running at European and world level. And really at the moment, though, it's more, since the kids came along, it's more about maintaining my fitness and setting challenges for myself. So rather than necessarily competing. So last year, my challenge was to complete an Ironman, which is trying to think now, it's a 3.8 kilometer swim. It's a 180 kilometer bike ride and followed by a marathon. And that's all on the one day, because some people have asked me, one after the other. So that was a fantastic experience. I really loved every moment of it. And this year then my challenge is a 100 kilometer trail run. So that's in 2 weeks' time. So looking forward to that.
Wow, that is amazing. Yeah, and Ironman is something that is on my to-do list.
Fantastic.
I've done a couple of triathlons, and I have to say I was very nervous about it, but it was one of the most fun races that I've ever had. I probably could have prepared a little bit better with my swim, because swimming has always been a challenge for me. But it was really, really amazing that I did my very first triathlon and placed second in my age group, which I
well done.
Floored. And I have to say that I have to attribute a lot of that to eating plant-based, because you know, going vegan only 4 years ago, I've, like yourself, have done a lot of running and obstacle course races, and I come to find out how the plants have really helped me to continue in my endurance and have faster recovery times. So how was it for you training for an Ironman, which is a huge accomplishment? How did you keep up with your nutrition with all the plants? You know, a lot of people think, where do you get your protein from? And how can you do all that just on plants? Can you kind of enlighten us a little bit about how you did that?
Sure, absolutely. Like you said, if anything, a plant-based diet has really benefited and enabled me to do it, rather than how did I manage to do it on a plant-based diet. And you touched on the important thing there, which is recovery, because recovery is the key when it comes to training, because especially in triathlon, where you might even be training twice a day at a time, so you really need to recover quickly. And plants, you know, the antioxidants and fruit and vegetables are fantastic for really helping that recovery and helping reduce inflammation as well, which can be a problem when it comes to kind of getting back into training for the next session. So absolutely really found it very beneficial. And even in my Ironman, I finished really, really strong, and my nutrition just went so smoothly. And for a lot of people, nutrition in an Ironman is like a sport discipline. It's a whole science in itself, trying to get it correct, because you're out there exercising from anything from 10 to 20 hours, depending on how long it takes you. But my nutrition just went so smoothly. I wasn't relying on commercial gels or sports drinks. I made my own energy balls, and I used my own natural food, natural plants, and that really sustained me. And if anything as well, I find, because I'm very well nourished, that I don't need as much food as other people do. I think because I'm eating nutrient dense foods, I'm getting an abundance of vitamins and minerals, that I can get away with eating less. So for example, on an Ironman, you expend somewhere between 7,000 to 10,000 calories while you're doing it. And a lot of people then try to make sure they ingest that number of calories, which is really difficult to do. But I have to remind myself to eat, because I actually don't find that I need food. And even at that, when I calculated how much I consumed in the Ironman, it was only about 2,000 calories, so nowhere near what I expended. So I think it's again back to the source of the nutrients, which we often forget about. We think about food as calories, but not necessarily the source. And when you're eating high nutrient dense foods like you do in a plant-based diet, I find that definitely with exercise I need a lot less as well.
Wow, yeah, that's amazing. So you made a lot of your own little snacks, natural snacks that you can take with you during the race.
Yeah, I do. I live off my for exercise, and smoothies as well. I find smoothies fantastic. So I actually brought a blender. It was in Barcelona, so I traveled with my blender and made up a smoothie in the morning of the race, and put it in put ice packs and a cool bag, and had that before the swim, and had it at both transitions as well. So full of green goodness and lots of other great stuff. So that really helped too.
Wow, that's fantastic. Yeah, and it's not always too, it's about the quality, right? The quality of food that we're putting in our body, and not just some of this processed stuff. Like you said, a lot of the gels and the goos. I know when I was running some of the snacks, in some of my half marathons, I love the medjool dates. And those kind of helped me, kept me going, and it was more natural, and it was easier for my body to digest. And you've got the sweetness and the carbs in there to kind of help keep you going. So
yeah, absolutely.
That's great. Great tips. So how is plant-based giving you more energy to continue doing these physical activities? Because like you said, it's about the recovery time, right? And so how do you maintain that over and over again to be able to go out there again and do all these races, and now this new challenge that you have coming up?
Again, because I'm eating a lot of whole foods. I'm eating a lot of foods that are full of vitamins and minerals and phytochemicals and phytonutrients and antioxidants, and those are the types of foods that give you energy. And so I just make sure that I'm eating lots of high nutrient dense foods, and that's fueling my body. And once I'm fueled, I'm always full of energy. I'm a busy working mom. I have 2 kids. The training and everything, and I do find I manage it all, and I'm not exhausted at the end of the day like a lot of clients that I work with are. And I definitely attribute that to my diet. It's just eating a whole food plant-based diet, and really, really has helped sustain me and give me the energy to do what I love to do.
Right. And so being a busy mom and having all these things, how do you find time to cook your own foods and create your own recipes when you've got so many things going on, especially with training? I mean, it takes a lot of time when you're in training, and you really have to be focused, right, on what your training is going to look like, when are your longer days. How do you find time to fit all that in and get enough sleep on top of it, right? Because sleep is so important as well for recovery.
Absolutely. I'm an early morning riser. I always have been. So I think that's definitely a benefit for me. So on a daily basis, I can even get my training done sometimes before the kids are awake, or even prep some food in the mornings. But I find for me, it comes back to the weekend and meal planning. So I will take a little bit of time on a Sunday just to plan out my meals for the week and shop accordingly then. So and if I have time, I'll also do some batch cooking on a Sunday as well. So even if it's having 1 or 2 soups done, or energy balls or muffins, I freeze everything. Everything goes in the freezer. So if I prepare stuff, I'll always double up recipes and freeze some. So that definitely helps. And then having a plan, knowing that on Monday I'm having this, and on Tuesday I'm having that. I've already shopped for the ingredients, and then it just makes it so much easier because I know what I'm having. I'm also the queen of quick and easy, quick and easy meals, and that are obviously healthy and wholesome. So those kind of things help, and getting the kids involved, getting my husband involved, we all kind of help contribute, and that makes it run a lot smoother then as well.
Yeah, and so that was going to be my next question. Is the entire family vegan?
Yes, we are. My kids are vegan from birth, and my husband and I actually went vegan in parallel just around the time we met, so it was quite nice. And he was the only vegan I knew for the first 10 years. So
Wonderful.
in Ireland 20 years ago, there weren't many, but that's definitely changed. So I was speaking at Veg Fest in Cork recently, and when I asked how many vegans are here, rows and rows and rows of hands go up. So it's really strange to witness the change over the years as well. But back to your question, yeah, we're a vegan family, and it works out great. My kids don't know any different, I guess, and they love cooking and love helping and getting involved as well. And even with the meal planning, I'll involve them. I'll ask them what they'd like for their lunches and what they'd like for dinners. And I find once they're more engaged, they're more likely then to either help in the prep or to eat it, or to just to be involved in the whole process as well. So that works good for us.
Yeah, I think that's a really good key, is getting the kids involved, right? And preparing and deciding what the meals are to get them on board. When they kind of feel like they're involved, they're more likely, right, to eat. And so being that you're the queen of quick and easy, do you have one recipe that is a quick and easy recipe that you could share?
Yeah, I was actually chatting to a friend of mine this morning who loves one of my quick and easy ones. So I'll share that one with you, and I really like it as well. It's called Chickpea Delight.
Chickpea Delight, okay.
Grab a tin of chickpeas, drain it, and mash up the chickpeas, add in some vegan mayo, add in some dill, add in some chopped cucumber, tomatoes, sprouts, whatever you have going. Mix it all up, a little bit of mustard, and a little drop of maple syrup, and it's just and it takes probably 3 minutes.
Wow. So, okay, and so you can eat it just like that, or possibly put it in a
sandwich. You can eat it as a salad. You could put it in a pita bread. In sandwiches I've used it. I'll mash it depending on how I'm using it. Would be how the degree to which I kind of mash it up. So yeah, it's lots of options for it. So.
That sounds delicious.
That's good. Quick and easy. Yeah.
Wonderful. And so tell me a little bit about your online program that you have.
Sure, I run, it's an 8-week online program called Healthy, Fit and Vegan, and it really, I suppose, helps people to become healthy and fit and vegan. What I find is that over the past few years, there's been such a growth in veganism, particularly here, well, all around the world, I guess, but here in Ireland over the last maybe 5-6 years, and I'm meeting a lot of people who are vegan and vegan for variety of reasons, but they're not necessarily healthy vegans. They've given up the meat, but they might necessarily have found other alternative protein sources, or they're eating a lot of processed foods, or they're eating pasta and the lot of the kind of high carb foods. So really, my aim with this was to help people become healthy vegans, and I think I feel like I'm an advocate for the vegan world, and I want to be out there. And when you say you're vegan, you become, what I call exhibit number one. People are kind of watching you to see how you get on and see how you do. And so I think, for me, I feel like part of what I do is because I want to show that vegans can be healthy. They can do Ironman, they can run 100-kilometer races, they can do all this stuff and be healthy and be fit. So that's the purpose of the course, is to help support people become healthy, fit, and from a vegan perspective. So it's got tons of recipes, healthy, whole food, quick and easy. It's got exercise programs in there. And we also do a lot around mindset work. I'm a big believer in the power of the mind when it comes to achieving our goals, and then getting clear in our visions and our why. And then we do a lot around kind of stress management and relaxation, and even sleep, as you mentioned, the importance of that. So it's a real kind of holistic approach to health with the vegan underpinning as well. So.
Wow, that sounds fantastic. Yeah. And so, you mentioned about, being a healthy vegan. I think a lot of people sometimes have a misconception that all vegans are healthy, right? And so, it can be vegan, but it's a processed food, right? Just like Oreos, I think, are vegan, and Twizzlers are vegan. It doesn't necessarily mean it's a good, nutrient-dense food. and to be a healthy vegan, right, as you say, to focus on those whole foods, what comes from the earth. And so what's your advice as far as, some people say, well, it's really kind of expensive to be, vegan or to eat all these whole foods. What would you say to that question? Or what would your answer be if someone said, well, I don't know if I can do this. I think it's a little too pricey to go out. I can go to a fast food and have a meal, burger, fries, and a Coke for $6, yet, $6 may not get me much, in the supermarket at the produce department. What would you advise?
So there are a couple of things. First of all, vegan food doesn't have to be expensive. It's like any food, the more processed it is, the more expensive it's going to be, whether it's plant-based or not plant-based. So if you can, and for your health and for other reasons, the more you can stick to the whole food. So you can go in and buy fruit and vegetables quite cheaply. You can go in and buy brown rice quite cheaply. You can go in and buy a lot of the basic staples quite cheaply. Yes, if you want more of the processed foods, they will be more expensive, but that applies across the board, I think. So definitely, I think just getting creative. And there's loads of, you'll see vegan on a budget, videos on YouTube and people sharing how they, went vegan on $5 a week or things like that. So there's loads of examples and opportunities out there to try out vegan meals that don't cost a lot. And actually, the largest proportion of people going vegan are the kind of 15 to 35-year-olds who wouldn't have a lot of probably, extra disposable cash compared to older age groups. So, and they're all, the majority of them seem to be managing fine as well. And I suppose you also have to think of the bigger cost in terms of your health. Look at what you're saving by, if you do invest a little bit more in terms of your nutrition. And we would spend a lot, to be honest, ourselves on our foods. But we see that as an investment. My kids have never, my 5-year-old, he's never been to the doctor, never been on antibiotics, so we feel it's an investment in us and our health, and we know from all the research that it definitely is in terms of reducing your risk of cancer and heart disease and diabetes, and we'll live longer and live healthier. So definitely looking at it from that perspective, and then I suppose the cost in terms of animal welfare and so on as well. So yeah,
I think that's a great point that you brought up, is people don't relate, right? It's, do I want to pay now or do I want to pay later with my health? And you really can't put a dollar amount on your health, right? And so why not, invest in yourself now so that you can live longer and live a quality of life, right? While you are living.
Absolutely.
Now, here in America, the standard American diet, people are not living very long. They're dying of all these diseases that could possibly have been prevented just by what you put on your plate, right? And what you choose to nourish your body with. And, one of the things that I really loved about going vegan for me and going plant-based was my mental clarity. When I started eating more cleaner and started eating, high vibrational foods, things from Mother Earth, my mindset just changed. I had more compassion for animals, because for me, it was more of a health thing, when I first went vegan, for my health, where I had suffered for many years with allergies and asthma. And I was able to really eliminate a lot of my medications and just feel really fantastic about it. So, it's, people need to, realize, and maybe, by getting the word out there more, and that it's, it's an investment in your health, right? And, taking the easy way, and just a little bit like you were mentioning earlier about prepping foods a little bit in advance, having foods on hand so it's easier for you to grab something that's already cooked versus grabbing something that's not healthy for you.
Absolutely.
So great point there. All right. So out of everything that we talked about, what would be the one thing that you would like our viewers to take away from this conversation? Or what would be one last word of advice that you could give people about this lifestyle? Because it really is a lifestyle. It's not just about a diet, but it's a lifestyle, way of living.
I think for me, definitely that it's so worth it. I know change can be a little challenging, and change takes time. So as you transition, allow yourself that time, allow yourself that space, do it gradually. Start with, making all your breakfast plant-based, then add in your lunch. And, I think if you do it at a gradual, steady pace, it's not overwhelming, and you'll also slowly start to feel the benefits of what you're doing, and that in itself will become an internal motivation to keep going as well. So start gradually, keep going, and really once you start to feel the benefits, it'll be so worth it. The little bit of investment or time it might make to take that effort to change, you really will pay back just, you know, many, many times over.
Yes, absolutely. Yeah. I think the decision is how you feel, right? Once you start eating all these wonderful foods, you're going to feel it in your body, and you're going to feel that extra energy. And that speaks, you know, volumes really when you see how you feel. All right.
Absolutely.
Excellent. So I have one last question for you. If you were on a deserted island and you could choose one fruit and one vegetable to bring with you, what would those be?
My fruit would be a banana. That was easy. And my vegetable, be tossed up between spinach and aubergine. I'm not sure who would win there.
You said spinach, or what was the other one?
Aubergine.
Which,
you probably call it something different in the States.
yeah, I was trying to think.
Eggplant.
Eggplant. Spinach is one of my favorites too, and I would love to. I love cherries, so I would definitely bring cherries.
Yeah.
Bananas are great too because they're so easy to digest, right? Easier on them.
I think for an athlete, they're so good before and after exercise. They're fantastic in smoothies. They're great with the kids. So.
Yeah, and they're great for smoothies. You know, I'm always adding greens in my smoothies, and having a banana in there really will take away from any of the taste of the greens, which most of the time you really can't taste it once it's all blended up. And it's a good way for you to get your greens in, right? So we can keep our body alkalized, right? More so than in an acidic environment, right? As we know that disease grows in an acidic environment. So the more greens and the more alkalized our body is, the better chances we are to be healthier, right?
Absolutely. And I suppose just on the advice in terms of taking it slowly and gradually, it just reminded me of the free gift that I have for people today as well, because that's it's called Vegan Till 5 Challenge. So if people are new to it and just want to literally get a taste of going vegan, I've provided breakfast and lunch recipes for people to try going vegan till 5. So again, that's another easy way just to give it a try and see how the recipes are, see how you enjoy them, and see how easy it actually can be. And so that's a good way for people to get going and get started too.
Yeah, that's a great idea. I love that, Vegan Till 5. And so that'll be available on a link that you can easily click on and have that free gift for you all. So thank you so much for all of your insight, and wishing you the best of luck on your endurance race that you have, right? You said how long was it?
It's 100 kilometers.
Okay, I have to figure out.
So about 60 miles.
Wow. Wow. And so that is coming up how long?
A week from Saturday.
Okay, and how are you feeling about it? How are you feeling?
Good.
Is it your first one?
It is at that distance.
That distance, right?
Yeah. It's probably more of a mental challenge, you know. I think than anything. So we'll see how it goes. Looking forward to it. Visualizing it all going well.
Yes, that's what I was going to say, because I know you talked a little bit about mindset, and so how do you prepare yourself for this endurance race that you've got coming up as far as your mindset? Would you do any type of meditation or anything that kind of helps you get into that mindset?
Yeah, no, absolutely. I'm a big believer. I have a morning routine that would include meditation and setting intentions and so on for my day. But specifically towards athletics events, I would use visualization a lot. I'll see myself at my medal and see myself crossing the line and see myself enjoying it. All the things that I want to feel on the day. So really just replaying that over and over beforehand. And that's half the work. It's really interesting, actually. One study. Have we time?
Yeah, sure.
They did a study on Russian gymnasts, and they divided they were all going to the Olympics, and they divided them into 4 groups. And one group had solely physical training. It was 3 groups. One group had 100% physical training in the gym. The other had 50-50 mental imagery and physical training, and the other only had 25% physical training and 75% mental imagery. And the group that performed the best in the Olympics was the group with 75% mental imagery. So it's really, really powerful. And yeah, I could go on with other studies, but yeah, it's fascinating. So in terms of training, the amount of time we spend on the physical training, quite often we don't spend near enough time on the mental training, which is just as important. So.
Yeah, that is really a very interesting study. That 75, the ones who had the 75%, right, visualization is better. Yeah, because the mind is so powerful, right? We don't realize sometimes, you know, our bodies, even when our body is so tired and you think you can't go one more step and you're like, I just can't do it. But in your mind, if you, like you said, visualize and really see yourself, it will take you across the finish line. As you know, in a lot of these endurance races, I've done full marathons when I thought I just couldn't do it anymore, and you're cramping up, and you've got sweat dripping down, and you're just like, oh my God, how am I going to do this? And you just, it's all mental after that point, right? Because your body is ready to just call it a day, but it's the mind that will keep going. So yes, I can see where that study was definitely very enlightening for a lot of people, that it is possible to do anything with your mind, that as long as you set your mind to it. Well, Dr. Brosnan, thank you so much for all of your wonderful tips today and your insight, and wishing you the best of luck on your next race. And to all of you, my viewers, I hope that you got a lot out of today's interview, and continue watching on, as we will have more experts giving more advice so that you could learn and transition, if you choose, into this wonderful lifestyle of veganism and plant-based. So bye for now, and we'll see you soon.